and welcome to your week 2 recorded maths lessons with me, Miss Hyken. Okay, so today's lesson is on problem solving with ratios. And again, if you're finding this a little bit tricky, then have a look at our level 2 lesson with Mr. Harmer. It just goes into a bit more detail. Okay, before we start, can you make sure you've got this equipment and this written down in your books and underlined? So if you want to pause it and make sure you're ready to go. Brilliant. And just like normal, we have got 5 a day for you to have a go at. I want to see your workings really neatly laid out, having a go at every single question, pushing yourself to the extension when you finish. So if you want to press pause and have a go at your do now. Fantastic. And I'm going to be revealing the answers in 3, 2, 1. So ticking your answers there for me. How many did you get right? Okay, so moving on to the learning objectives now. Today, we're going to be able to use an understanding of ratios to solve problems. And I'm really excited to share this lesson with you because some of this material gets really tricky and it's taking something quite basic like ratio and applying it to some really difficult situations. But before we carry on, I just want to remind you, if you're finding any of this material a little bit tricky or you can't remember how to do it, have a look at that level 2 lesson. And Mr. Harmer really explains how to go into some detail with some of those ratio concepts. So if you're sticking with me, let's get ready to go. Okay, so before we start with the main bulk of the learning, we're going to do some really important retrieval practice of those key skills that we need to unlock the learning for today. So if you're having a look at these 2 questions here, splitting ratios, and you can't remember how to do it or you're not 100% sure, stop the video now and watch that level 2 video. If you're feeling confident, get this written down, retrieval practice underlined, numbers 1 to 5, and get ready for our retrieval practice quiz. Fantastic. So, question 1. Split 30 into the ratio 2 to 1. Pause. And 3, 2, 1. Pens drop, green pens up, and ticking. Your answer should be 20 to 10. And we can check our answer by adding those 2 numbers up, and we get 30. Question 2. Split 16 in the ratio 3 to 1. Pause. And 3, 2, 1, pens drop, green pens up, and ticking your answer, you should have 12 to 4. Again, adds up to 16. We've done that correctly. Question 3. Split 50 in the ratio 3 to 2 to 5. And pause. And 3, 2, 1, pens drop, green pens up, and ticking your answers, you should have 15 to 10 to 25. Again, they add up to make 50. Question 4. Split 6 in the ratio 0.5 to 1 to 0.5. Same method here, adding up your different parts, seeing what you need to multiply. Pause. And 3, 2, 1, pens drop, and green pens up, and ticking your answers, you should have 1.5, 3, and 1.5. Getting a little bit tricky there. Fantastic. Well done. Right, and next up, question 5. Split 15 in the ratio 3.5 to 1 to 0.5. And pause. And 3, 2, 1, pens drop, green pens up, and ticking your answers, you should have 10.5 to 3 to 1.5. Some really fantastic work there, some really tricky questions. I'm super impressed. Can you give yourself a retrieval practice score out of 5 for me? Really well done there, guys. Fantastic work. Okay, so today we're going to be looking at 3-part ratio problems, okay? And an example of a 3-part ratio is as follows. On a farm, the ratio of pigs to cows is 2 to 3. The ratio of cows to sheep is 6 to 7. What is the ratio of pigs to cows to sheep? So you're given 2 sets of ratios and we need to use that information to come up with a ratio for the 3 parts, okay? And I'm going to move over to the visualizer in a minute and show you how we do this. But before we do that, I would like you to copy out the worked example question so that it's really clear in your notes exactly what you're working out for future reference. So copy out this worked example question, okay, and then we're going to move over to the visualizer to answer it. So pause it now. And I've got my question written here. So, on a farm, the ratio of pigs to cows is 2 to 3. The ratio of cows to sheep is 6 to 7. What is the ratio of pigs to cows to sheep? So the first step here is to work out what the question is asking me to find, okay? It's asking for the ratio of pigs to cows to sheep. So I'm going to fill that in. It wants to know pigs to cows to sheep. And we remember that these dots here is just how we write the two. We've got pigs, 2 cows, 2 sheep, and that's what these dots mean. Okay. I then fill in the information I know. So the first line tells me that the ratio of pigs to cows is 2 to 3. So I fill in 2 to 3. For every 2 pigs, I have 3 cows. I then know that the ratio of cows to sheep is 6 to 7. So I need to fill in a 6 in this cows column and next to it a 7 in the sheep's column. Now I can't put 6 here because on this line there's a 3 in the cows column. So I need to make a new column. When there are 6 cows, there are 7 sheep. Okay, and that's what the question is telling me. There's 6 cows, there's 7 sheep. Okay, but I'm not finished my question. My question is asking me the ratio of pigs to cows to sheep. So I need a line where all 3 pieces of my information are filled in. Okay, so what I'm going to do is work out how I've got from this line to this line so I can fill in my answer. And I can see I've got a pair of numbers here. To get from 3 to 6, I've multiplied by 2. So to get from this line to this line, I multiply by 2. 2 times 2 is 4. And I could work out what this number here would have been. Okay, it would have been 3.5. Okay, so I've filled in my answer, 4 to 6 to 7. And that's the ratio of pigs to cows to sheep. Now my last step is to have a look at these 3 numbers and work out if I can simplify it. Can I simplify my answer? Is there a number that I can divide 4 and 6 and 7 by? No, there's not. 7 is a prime number, so we can't divide that. Fantastic if you had that word prime number in your head. Well done. Okay, so I've finished my question. The ratio of pigs to cows to sheep is 4 to 6 to 7. So pause it and take some time to copy that out now. Lovely, well done. So I've got a question that's very similar now for you to have a go at. A pet shop sells mice, rats and gerbils. The ratio of mice to rats is 5 to 7 and the ratio of mice to gerbils is 14 to 3. What is the ratio of mice to rats to gerbils? And I know it's quite a big question, but you need to write out the question and then your workings underneath. Otherwise it's just going to look really messy and you're not going to understand what you're doing. So I want to see the question and the workings written out, and you need to do both, okay? So pausing it and doing that now. Fantastic. And I'm going to reveal the answer now in 3, 2, 1, 10, 14 to 3. So ticking it, okay? Fantastic, guys. Some really tricky stuff here. I'm really impressed. Well done. Right, and now what you're going to do is you're going to apply that to some independent practice. So what I would like you to do is have a go now at these questions here, again showing me your workings and using those modelled examples to answer the question. Pausing it and off you go. And I'm going to reveal the answers in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Ticking in green pen. Okay, and pausing it if you need more time to tick and correct. And moving swiftly on. Okay, so these questions now get slightly trickier, okay? Rather than just going from our top row to the next row by multiplying, we have to do something slightly different. So I'm going to give you a minute to read the 2 worked example questions, and then I'm going to move over to the visualizer and show you step by step how we do these trickier questions. So pausing it to have a read, and then I'm going to move you over. Brilliant. So I've got my first question here. The ratio of T to N is 3 to 8. The ratio of M to W is 4 to 7. Work out T to M to W in its simplest form. So again, I'm just going to start off by filling in what it wants. T to M to W. And then I'm going to fill in what I know from the question. Okay? So first step, my ratio of T to M is 3 to 8. So I'm going to fill that in. T to M is 3 to 8. And if you're confused about this, just flick back and watch our previous example. Okay? The ratio of M to W is 4 to 7. Okay? The M is the 4, the W is the 7. So I need to put my 4 in the M column, but I can't put it here because that's taken by the 8. So I need to come up with a new row, and I'm going to put my 4 here. Okay? I've got a new row with my 4 here. And then I know that it's 4 to 7. So I put a 7 in the W column, okay? And what I need to do is I need to fill in one of these spaces so that I've got my ratio complete, okay? I need to complete my ratio so that I've got all 3 numbers filled in. Now, before, we were looking at how we got from this line to this line, okay? We're thinking, oh, how have I got from here to here? I found my pair of ratios is in the M column. How have I got from 8 to 4? Now, you might be thinking, easy, 8 to 4, I divide by 2. But we've got a little problem there. If I divide 3 by 2, I'm left with 1.5, okay? Now, this is where I need you to really listen. We can't have a decimal number and have our ratio in the simplest form. If we're leaving it in the simplest form, all of our numbers need to be integers. They need to be whole numbers, okay? So we can't go this direction. That's not the simplest form. We can't have a decimal as part of our answer. So what we're going to do is work out how we've got from this row to the row above. We're still using this pair, but we're going in the other direction. How have I got from this row to this row here? How have I got from 4 to 8? What have I done to get from 4 to 8? And you're absolutely right. I've times by 2. So I know that 7 times by 2 is 14. And then I've got my 3 numbers in my ratio column. 3, 8, 14. And I look at these numbers and I think, can I simplify them? No, I can't, because 3 is absolutely right. 3 is a prime number, so I can't simplify it anymore. So my answer, I'm just going to write it out again so it's really nice and clear. T to M to W is left 3 to 8 to 14. And that's in its simplest form. It can't be simplified anymore, and there's no decimals in the answer. It's an integer form. Okay, if you'd like to copy that question out, pause it now to do so. Beautiful. So this next question just gets a little bit trickier, okay? But we're going to be fine. We've done so well so far today. We're going to be absolutely fine. So I know that the ratio F to H is 4 to 3. I know that the ratio of H to W is 5 to 2. And I need to work out the ratio of F to H to W in its simplest form. So just like I've been doing, I'm going to fill in what I need to find out. I need to find out F to H to W. And I'm going to fill in what I know. F to H is 4 to 3. So 4 in the F column, 3 in the H column. H to W is 5 to 2. So 5 in the H column and 2 in the W column. Okay? Now before, we've been able to look at these two numbers in the H column and work out how to get between them by multiplying, okay? Now the problem is that 5 is not a factor of 3, so I can't just simply multiply by one number to get from this row to this row, okay? I can't just times this by something easily to move between the rows. So I have to introduce another step. What I'm going to do is make a new row here and put a new number in my H column that I can move to from this row and this row. So I need a number here that is a multiple of 3 and a multiple of 5. Can you think of a number that is in the 3 times table and in the 5 times table? Brilliant. That number is 15. So I put 15 in this H column, and it means that I can now navigate between this row and this row, and this row and this row, because 3 times by something gives me 15, and 5 times by something gives me 15. Now my first step, I'm going to work out this number here, and I'm going to think about how I've got from this row to this row. How have I got from 5 to 15? What have I times by? Good. I've times by 3. So to find out this number here, I do 2 times by 3, and that gives me 6. And I've used blue to do this, okay, just to make it clear what I'm doing. The next step, I need to work out how I've got from this top row to this row here. How have I got from 3 to 15? What have I times 3 by to get to 15? Absolutely right, I've times by 5. So to find out this number here, I've got to do 4 times by 5, and that gives me 20. So my first step, I can see that 3 doesn't go into 5 easily. I can't times easily between these two rows. So I had to make a new row. And I found a number that both 3 and 5 are factors of, which was 15, okay? And then I worked out how I got from 5 to 15, timesing by 3. That gave me my 6. How I got from 3 to 15, timesing by 5. That gave me 20. And I got my final answer of 20, 15, and 6. I looked at that and I knew that I couldn't simplify that further. There's nothing that I can divide all 3 of these numbers by. So I could see that it was simplified. Pause it, copy it out, and watch it again if you're confused. Off you go. Brilliant. And I've got 2 examples now for you to try, okay? They're almost identical to the examples that we've just done, just with different numbers. So those modelled examples should really, really help you to answer these 2 questions. Remember, you can rewind it and watch me modelling it again if you need some extra help. So pausing it and having a go at those 2 questions. And I'm going to reveal the answers in 3, 2, 1. Oh, here we go. 3, 10, and 6. 3 to 10 to 6, and 25 to 30 to 18. And I just want to say, these are getting really tricky now. I'm really, really impressed with the work and the resilience that you've shown so far in this lesson. Well done. We're going to move on now to some extended practice of this. I've got some questions here for you to have a go at, okay? And this question 4 is quite tricky, so I'd really like you to push yourself to do all 4 questions, really reading through the question and having a think, looking at your notes to help you. So pausing it now and having a go. Fantastic work. Keep going. Brilliant. And I'm going to reveal the answers in 3, 2, 1. Question 1, 4 to 6 to 15. Question 2, 9 to 15 to 40. Oh, question 3, 9 to 6 to 4. And question 4, 24 to 40 to 5. And the fraction, really impressive you got this correct, is 24 out of 69 or 8 out of 23. Some really, really hard stuff there. Really impressed with the resilience that you've shown in this lesson. Well done. Finally, there's an exit ticket that is underneath with the Google form questions for you to have a go at, okay? And these touch on the skills that we've looked at today. So if you have a look back through your notes, your modelled examples, this should help you. Before we go, I just want to say how impressed I am with the resilience and hard work that you've shown this lesson. I want to see this throughout our recorded lessons, and it was really, really nice for me to share this lesson with you, getting really tricky here with ratio questions. Okay, so that's bye from me for now. See you next recorded lesson.